Don't you miss traveling? You guys, I can't wait to start traveling again. I want to go to Europe. Give me Italy. Give me somewhere in Mexico. Give me the ocean. Give me a cruise ship. I want to eat and drink all the food, all the drinks. Just give it to me. I need a vacation. Hey everyone, it's me, Ramon Rice Cake, and welcome to my channel. First off, I just want to say that I hope you're all having a great day, a fabulous night, whatever time it is that you're watching my videos. I hope that I can send you some good and positive vibes. How you doing? How you doing? You guys, I've been watching too much Wendy Williams. I apologize. Cross-dressing on a cruise ship part 2. So quick recap for my first video. I worked on cruise ships for 3.5 years. I worked in the cruise director, cruise events department. I dressed up for parties, for some cruise productions, some cruise shows, and I kept it very professional. And for part 2, we're gonna get a little bit more personal, a little dirtier, you can say. That's right, I'm gonna spill a little bit more tea this time. I know you want more of the juiciness from my life, and this is a video for that. So right away, I have many stories that are very similar to these two that I'm gonna share. So for my first story, I remember dressing up for the crew disco nights. And yes, they call them discos, which to me sounds so old school, so old fashioned, but in cruise lingo, disco is like going to the club. It's like going to the crew bar, and disco night is a night where you want to be. That's where literally everyone comes on to party, even the ones who don't really go out every single night. That's the night where the crew bar is packed. So anyway, it's disco night at the crew bar, and I remember this was my last night of one of my contracts. There was this cute little Italian boy that I would flirt with throughout my entire 6-month contract, and I believe that he was a cook. And he was so cute with his little Italian accent, and we had a bit of a flirtation. Like, we would run into each other at ports, and we would do stuff together, you know, as friends, but nothing ever happened. Nothing ever went past flirting until my last night. And I honestly never thought that it would go past that, because throughout these 6 months, he'd always be like, I'm straight, I'm not gonna do this. I'd be like, yeah, sure, straight to my cabin. So it's my last night of this contract, and of course I am sloshed. I am so drunk, duh. And me and one of my good girlfriends, we ended up hanging out at his cabin with his roommate. So there was like, it was a small little crew cabin party, and I think there was only like 7 of us. So it was like me and my girlfriend, and then like him and his friends and his roommate. And I think in his mind, he was thinking, this is my last opportunity to taste a little bit of this rice cake. And that he did. On his top bunk. That's right. So in these cabins, I don't know if you've ever been on a cruise or if you've worked on cruise ships, but cabins are tiny. They're literally shoe boxes. You can maybe like step 6 feet in, and then that's as far as it goes, and it's super narrow, super tight, and most people share a room. Most people live on bunk beds. And so in his cabin, he was on the top bunk, and it was so funny because my good girlfriend was kind of hooking up with his roommate on the bottom bunk while I was on the top bunk with him, and we were kind of fooling around a little bit. And so it was just really funny. I don't think I've ever, I don't know, I can't say that. I was gonna say I've never done anything like that before, but pretty sure I have before. I remember the next morning when I had my last breakfast with my team and I told them the juicy tea, all their jaws dropped. And they're like, no way. Like, they did not believe me. And I was like, I told you. I knew that I could do it. I knew I could make this happen. And it happened. And they were so shook, but honestly, I wasn't that surprised. I find that Italian guys like me a lot for some reason. I don't know why. There's something, I think I've asked some Italian boys this, and they're like, oh, I really like your tan skin, like your tan brown skin. And I think that has something to do with it, because I think a lot of, I guess this is very stereotypical to say, but it seems like they like being tanned and, you know, and being out in the sun and getting that kind of nice shade. And I think that's, at least that's the guys that I have talked to, that's what they say that they liked about me. So there was this other time on board where it was actually my birthday night, so duh, of course I got all dolled up and I wore my go-to all black everything outfit, black top, black tutu, black heels, all black everything. Of course, that was my whole aesthetic, and of course I got a lot of attention that night. I don't know, for some reason people are so in disbelief when they see me in my boy form to my girl form, and I guess for me, I'm just so used to it. I'm just like, get used to it like me. So on every ship and every contract that I've worked on, there's a large number of Eastern Europeans on board, at least Eastern European workers. So that's like Bulgarians, Serbians, Croatians, like a lot of people in that region of the world. And as a boy, they don't give me any time of day, not one. Like, they do not care for this gay boy over there. They do not care for me. But then this one night, my birthday, where I think he worked in the casino, and he was this tall 6'5" giant Serbian, who also had a girlfriend on board. Not gonna name any names just in case. Ooh, my hair. Not gonna name any names, obviously just for privacy purposes, but also, like, I don't care. Now, this guy was pleasant with me throughout my contract. We didn't really flirt or anything. He always just seemed, he was like nice enough, like very polite, you know, but we didn't really flirt or anything. But then this night, when he saw me all dressed up, he couldn't believe that it was me. And he was giving me a lot more attention, talking to me at the crew bar. And I remember just being like, so where's your girlfriend? Because his girlfriend was on board. Like, she worked at the casino with him. And I was like, where is she? Where is she tonight? And he's like, oh, you know, she's just sleeping. She's not out tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. So whatever, I didn't give much thought into that. But I was planning on hosting an after party in my cabin. And usually these cabin parties are so packed. If you just have 10 people in a cabin, it is cramped, it is jam-packed. It feels very much like an after hours here in Toronto. Like, it's just sweaty, everybody is just kind of all up against each other, and I don't know, I guess people on the cruises like that. They like that vibe, or I guess they just like feeling like, oh, it's something separate from the crew bar, because that's literally just one place where all the crew can hang out. So I guess it's kind of nice to just get away from that environment into another. So anyway, I invited a bunch of people to come up to my cabin afterwards, including him, just very briefly, just like, hey, come up here if you'd like. So at this point, I'm in my cabin. I have like 10 people there. I have this one other boy there with me as well, and he's all up on me already and basically kind of claiming that, like, okay, you're gonna be mine tonight. And he was cute, so I was giving him the attention as well. But then I get a knock on my cabin, and look who shows up. It's a 6'5" giant Serbian guy, and he kind of just like looks around like, oh, kind of very suspicious. And I remember coming up to him and being like, hey, like, come in, do you want to come in? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, why not? He's like, too many people. And then he just leaves. And I remember thinking, wow, so I think he would have rather had it just be like me and him. Pretty sure he wanted to hook up with me that night. He didn't say that, obviously, but I mean, in my head, I'm like, usually, like, people invite other people to cabin parties all the time, but it's not like you expect everyone to show up, you know? Like, again, these cabins are small. It can only fit so many people. So I think he was, first of all, like, we're not really friends, and for him to come up to my cabin, remember my cabin number, and show up, I think that was very telling, and I'm pretty sure that he was hoping that it was just gonna be me alone there. Pretty sure. So sorry to his girlfriend, whatever. I don't even care because I already had a guy in there that was waiting for me who was very nice as it was. So I didn't take that as a loss, but it was just really funny to me because people who are in relationships on board, sometimes, you know, they are linked. That's what it's called. If you're linked with someone, that means you've come on board with them and you're supposed to do the whole contract together. So obviously he was linked with his girlfriend. You guys, the amount of cheating that goes on, especially those who are married or in relationships, but their partners are still left at home and they're on board. Oh, game over. Like, they call the divorce lawyers right now because they are cheating on their significant other so hard. It's kind of a common thing actually on cruise ships, and it's kind of sad. And their whole explanation for it is that I'm on board. It's a whole new world. It is a whole new universe, and what they don't know won't hurt them. That's kind of their mentality, and it's kind of icky. I mean, it is very icky, what am I saying? And that mentality of what they don't know won't hurt them, yeah, that's true until you go home and you give them gonorrhea. Then, ooh, what are you gonna tell them then? So it's kind of safe to say that whenever I've dressed up, I've gotten, one, a lot more attention, two, boys just hitting on me a lot more. So I have a lot more stories like this. So if you want to hear more of these stories, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you've made it this far, help your girl out. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. Do you want to hear more cross-dressing on cruise ships, hookup stories? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.